Hey, this is Roman from Vanture Customs, and I'm super excited to be back and even more excited to show you this brand new custom build behind me on a Sprinter 170. Come check this thing out. All right, let's start out on the outside of the van real quick. We gave it some fancy LED headlights on the front, beefed up the suspension with the Van Compass lift kit. This is actually a two-wheel drive van, Trail Tech tires, Owl running board to get up into this thing so it's sitting a little higher, Owl box, Owl rear door racks to mount more items, as well as a Owl wheel carrier, which also has a little ladder that you climb up onto the roof, a widow ladder. Your 30 amp service on the driver's side. You have another running board on the passenger side. And then underneath we have a beautifully tucked heated lines and heated gray tank that you can dump with a touch of a button. Enough of the outside. Let's check out this inside. It is beautiful. All right, before we hop in, Van Essential bug screens, side, back doors. Put it down and you have a nice easy access, magnets in and out. Let's hop on in. And we have a pretty nice open area. This is pretty close to our Summit build, but it's all custom. You can swing your driver's and passenger seat around. We put the adapters on them so that they can swivel now. You have a nice swivel lagoon table, which is super universal. You can pick it up, transfer it to another location if you'd like. This can also act as a little table. You can move the seat up forward and have a nice little working area, or just like stand and work as you enjoy a beautiful view like we have today. And you can still make your way around this table, which is a nice little feature. Below me, it's an S-bar heater so that it has the altitude sensor on it and you can use it anywhere you want. It will heat the entire inside of the van with about a cup at night. That's why we installed the B2L S-bar heater. The L stands for altitude. It has its own oxygen sensor so it can adjust to the altitude and the correct fuel ratio. Moving on, we have our upper shelf, our overhead storage shelf, which is really solid and has a little rod for a curtain if you want to black out real quick. If you have time, you can set up these insulated Van Essential window covers that magnetize into each window really easily also. We have more upper storage, really lightweight maple plywood that we have edge banded and laminated, so it gives it a really scratch resistant, stain resistant surface that makes these things last a really long time. As you see, we rounded the corners because we learned a lot of lessons from the sharp corners. Our signature LED underneath the cabinet. It all runs continuously and doesn't have the separated LEDs that you would typically see on those LED strips. It looks freaking awesome, and that little bend, it's just kind of become a signature of ours, and I love it. It looks modern, sleek, and still provides a ton of light when you need it to. If it's too much, you can dim it down with this little dimmer here. Below the upper cabinet, we have our beautiful laminated walls. We're not painting our walls, so you can beat these things up and wipe them down with anything you want, as well as our AMA window and our shade that pulls down and just retracts just like that. Our AMA window, and you have a huge opening with a big bug screen, provides a ton of airflow once you get that max air fan on. Up here, you see our beautiful pine tongue groove ceiling. It's locally sourced and smells amazing when you walk in. It doesn't smell plasticky, unnatural. It smells like a nice cozy cabin with modern features, which is kind of what we have here. Above the ceiling and behind the walls and underneath the floor, we have closed cell spray foam insulation. It is the best possible way to insulate your van. It also provides things like reinforcing your entire van. The sheet metal becomes 10 times stronger, and it has great sound deadening properties. Then you have a little hangout area here. You can use this little lagoon table all around and kind of play cards with 4 people and not feel cramped. Below me, we have a huge box for storage. And then below that, next to it, we have a dry flush toilet. If you don't know these toilets, they're pretty freaking awesome. You can take it out really easily. There's 15 cartridges. It's like a diaper genie. It's like a robot. It's amazing. It just twists and seals your waste, and then you can take it out in one bag and throw it out. It is a biodegradable bag, so you don't have to feel as bad using it. And it's a regularly sized toilet, so it's not anything crazy. You don't have to deal with black water or anything along those lines. That's been our favorite toilet. We have the box designed around 3 different toilets, composting and cassette ones, or with the cat litter ones, whatever you choose. It works in our boxes. All right, and moving along in this build, we have the office desk area. This is actually like a room of its own, it feels like, because of this giant divider. But this divider works really well here too, because you can add a little file storage cubbies and make use of that. Monitor, you can swing around whichever way you want, rotate it whichever way you want. And you have your private space to get all the work done in the most beautiful places, or let's face it, a Cabela's parking lot or a Walmart parking lot. It's crucial to be able to sit down here and get some of the work done on the road. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's okay, because you just hit a button and have Starlink satellite internet wherever you are. And if you don't want to use your Starlink, that's all right, because you can just boost your cell phone service with the WeBoost antenna with a click of a button too. Everything runs off of 12 volt DC or 48 volt DC for the Starlink, so you don't even need your inverter on for these items in this build. And there's a cool little hidden away storage drawer, which has a ton of storage for little cabinets. Now let's bring it on over to the kitchen area. Our kitchen galley is pretty massive compared to a New York galley. This extends it even more. Like I said earlier, you can even walk around it, which is pretty unusual for builds and kitchens on this side, as the standard goes for these campers. You have a nice deep sink and a cutting board that pops out, matches and fits in here like a puzzle. I love that. And then you have a faucet that swings out, and then you can clean up your feet or your animals outside, or humans. Moving on, we have this induction cooktop. It was actually supposed to be over there, but it works better here because you have all this counter space. Nice induction cooktop. It's the best way to heat, most efficient way to heat up your goods. That runs off of your 110 volt. That is the second item in here that runs on 110 volt. Everything else is 12 volts. So you have your gallons. Oh, this is actually an air fryer. It's a 3-in-1 air fryer, microwave, your induction cooktop. You have everything you need right here. Those are the only 2 items that run off of 110 volt. So that's the only thing you really need your inverter on for. Below, we have this beautiful finish of maple grain matched faces, which look really nice and symmetrical. All the lines flow. Really important detail in all of our builds. We don't like when there's no flow or symmetry to our cabinetry or anything really. Everything has a flow and a purpose. That's just one of our interior designers. Push to open everything. As you see, there's no handles anywhere to get snagged on. Here you have a little trash can, and then there's a ton of hidden storage in there as well. Below that, you have one more drawer with a ton of storage. And then next to that, we have a massive fridge. This is plenty. It has a nice little freezer compartment. This is even newer version from Dometic. They're getting really efficient with their 12 volt compressors. I thought they couldn't get any better, but they are. You even have a quiet mode, and they're not loud at all, but it can get even more quiet apparently. You have more storage here underneath your bed if you didn't have enough. There and there. And then on the last one, you have the ability to step up into your bed. Quick one up to your bed, and you're done. Below that lid, you have a ton of storage on your drawer as well. I totally forgot to mention there's another 4-port USB on this wall and 110-volt outlet, which is going to be used for the monitor. You can never have too many. There's actually an additional one in front of that seat. I forgot about the one behind the driver's seat. This is a nicely tucked away 4-port USB and 110-volt. Up here is where we keep all of our control buttons and stuff like that. There's no need to keep them on the wall. You don't need to look at them all day. It's rarely you really need to use them. So this is where we put our battery monitor. It's a 960 amp hours of lithium batteries. 3 Dakota lithium batteries back there. They have 11-year warranty, self-heating. They can handle the lowest temperatures that I've seen. They work amazing. We really like them. Then you have your inverter charger controller. There's a 3,000 watt Rego inverter charger. S-bar heater controller. We just basically treat that as your thermostat. Next to that, you have your exterior lights, which are pretty sweet. They're mounted on the side of the van here because it didn't get a roof rack. This button is just the garage lights. I'll show you the rear storage area, which is massive storage area that you'll see in a minute. And then next to that, you have your sea level tank monitor. Next to that, you have your switches for your water heater, tank heat, gray valve, cell phone booster, Starlink. Let me climb up here on this almost king size bed. This bed is massive. You have your 12-volt air conditioner sitting right above the bed. You just set it on eco mode and it's like a nice white noise cooling you down while you're sleeping. To the left on the driver's side, we installed this Sirocco black fan. Below that, we have our reading lights, USB chargers on the bottom of those. Have one on the driver's side, passenger side, sorry. Also, next to that, we have an additional screen. This one locks in place, so it's not swinging around while you're driving. We have another huge upper cabinet. We offset them to keep the weight a little balanced, and then this way you actually get a little more storage because you have something to flow this huge air fryer 3-in-1 microwave from. You have a ton of storage in these upper cabinets. They are super solid too. They're not going anywhere. They're bolted into the frame. Now let's go to the back and check out my favorite part of the van, usually, which is the storage. There's so much room back here that you can literally lay down a mattress and have a double bunk bed if you wanted to. Usually people have bike trays that slide in and out, or just storage trays, or those L tracks that you can have all over the place. To light this area up, we put these 2 big lights that you get access to as soon as you open the first door right here. You can dim them if they're too bright for some reason. Then you have 110-volt outlet to charge your things back here. A lot of people get e-bikes or something, I don't know now. But you have access for that. Or another fridge, freezer. A lot of people have been doing that, actually. Easy access to your 110-volt breakers and 12-volt fuses. All right, so in here, we have our electrical system on the passenger side to balance it out a little bit. We have this beefy Rego Renogy 3,000 watt inverter charger, which is a mouthful, but it kicks butt. And the older ones that are worse, supposedly, we've never had issues with. So great inverter if you're looking for one. Below that, we have a beautiful battery bank, all fused properly, as you see, with proper size gauged wire. And then this is our DC to DC charger that helps you charge while you're driving, as well as your solar controller. And then we have some beefy fans with the temperature sensor to cool it down once it gets a little too hot in here, because DC to DC chargers run hot. A ton of storage in this cubby, and also more storage over there. You won't believe it, more storage. And then here, you have 2 more cubbies for storage. And then here, you have a big tank with a nice heating pad. Here you have this cool looking sea level gauge sensor, which is our water level sensor. And then here you have a little bit more storage with a water filter and that 12-volt water pump. Above that, we have our 12-volt water heater, and that's how you can easily drain it to winterize it and easily be able to service all of your connections for your water system. That pretty much wraps up the back here. As you can see, there's a ton of space that you can squeeze in all your bikes, even as long as skis in there. The doors have these cool little door panels that you can attach those Van Essential pocket storage bins and things like that. That's all insulated behind there as well. And then one more thing back here, we have this cool little bug screen from Van Essential. You just drop it down and sleep with the doors wide open. Like today, I would love to sleep here while it's nice and cool. I like it to be a little chilly when I'm sleeping in my sheets, and just sleep throughout the night with the doors open. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this custom conversion build. We have a lot more lined up, so please comment, subscribe, and keep on venturing on.